You know, after you have your home birth, you can actually get up and tend your little toddler. You know, you've heard stories of the Chinese squatting in the fields, planting the rice. Oh, I better go behind a tree. Baby's born. Baby gets wrapped up. You know, we hear these stories. Well, I've met a few people that have seen it. Do you know what one of the things is? That woman is active right up until she gives birth to her baby. It's not a sickness. I say to people, it's a physical event. You've got to start training. I say to women, as soon as you fall pregnant, you've got to go into training. How many women sit back? I've got a craving for ice cream. I've got a craving for chocolate, and they get bigger. And then when the baby comes out, they've got stretch marks all over them because they just got so big. I remember one of my babies, he was an 8.5-pound baby. I went in and the lady said, are you sure you're ready? Are you sure you're... I said, yeah, I'm 9 months and I gave birth to a 8.5-pound baby because there was just no excess weight on. There's no need for that excess weight. You got to go into training. A woman should be her fittest as she goes into labour. And I had the great privilege of actually delivering my 5th baby. They thought I had ages to go and everyone left me. So I started marching around the room and I felt the urge and I was able to deliver my baby myself. What a beautiful thing to actually take out of your body a baby. How many women don't have that privilege? You've got to be very fit. You've got to get ready for this physical exertion. It's called labour and it's hard work. It's hard work. And if you're fit and able to do it, you won't get women fearing childbirth. None of my girls feared childbirth. They all had home births and delivered their babies naturally because they'd never heard any scary stories. Because they grew up in a home where birth was spoken about as a very natural thing, that the woman can do it easily. The attendant should be just there to be called upon if needed to be. It is not a sickness. We had an organic farmer and his wife do our program a couple of years ago. There's nothing wrong with this couple. They were in their 60s. Nothing wrong. I could not find any ailment in this couple. They said to me, we've been organic for 30 years. They have an organic dairy farm. They said, but everything we eat is organic. And the farmer said to me, do you know I'm never called out to a cow in distress at childbirth now? Wow. He says, before we went organic, once a fortnight I'd be called out to a cow in distress giving birth to her baby. He said, never now. Isn't that interesting? Every cell in the body is so well nourished, it works well. And what a sickness industry almost is surrounding birth today. Yeah? And yet if the woman's body's strong, healthy, well nourished, birth should happen with ease. Tomorrow we're going to talk about what happens between the ears, and I'm afraid many women fear childbirth, so that's the fear thing. But you know, fear and faith are polar opposites. When a woman believes that she will be able to deliver her baby and the baby will be healthy, that goes a long way to producing that. I remember there was one book written, Childbirth Without Pain, and it was this guy, Grantley Dick Reed his name was, and he was an English physician in about the 40s, and he used to watch women scream all through childbirth. And then one day he was called to a woman who was giving birth to a baby in one of the little homes in the slums. He went down there, he went into the room, it was dark, and he said there was a real peacefulness in the room, and there was the woman going through labour, breathing through every contraction in control, and he decided to just stand back. He thought, this woman doesn't need me, but I'm going to watch. And as the breathing got heavier, he knew that the contractions were getting stronger, and she would just relax and breathe deeply between every contraction. He knew when she went into contraction, knew it by the way she was breathing. She'd breathe up to the intensity and breathe down. And then her breathing changed and guttural sounds began, and he knew the baby was being born. So he went over closer and just helped her a little to deliver the baby. He went home that night puzzled. He thought, why did this woman just birth her baby naturally with no screaming, no terror? And he just thought of the women in hospital who just scream, and one how was such a marked difference. And he went right in to what happens in the stomach wall. See, we have muscles that are involuntary and muscles that are voluntary. And in labour, the involuntary muscles tighten with every contraction, pulling that cervix up. And when a woman is fearsome, her voluntary muscles tighten against the tightening of the involuntary muscles, and there's the intense pain. Isn't that interesting? So he wrote a book, Childbirth Without Pain, by Grantley Dick Reed. And again, where did it all start? Just between the ears. It's the way that the woman saw it. And the reason the Chinese women give birth to their babies out in the field, I'm sure they go home and have a little rest, is because they have no fear. Because they've not known any fear in childbirth. Tomorrow we're going to spend a whole lecture on what happens between the